Hello everybody, this is GZTV. This is my last video for now because I'm going to be watching the London game here shortly, and then I'm probably, after that London game, in between that and the 12 o'clock games, I'm probably going to be doing my weekly track rundown. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Better Call Saul, Season 4, Episode 3 is what we're on right now. Something Beautiful is the name of this episode. And yeah, we're going to get through the plot and the critical reception of the whole thing, and then I'll catch you guys here in like 3 hours. The plot, Nacho Varga aids Victor and Tyrus Kitt, Gus Fring's henchman, which we became very familiar with in the Breaking Bad series, and we're kind of just starting to get familiar. I don't think Gus was introduced into Better Call Saul until, like early season 3, so he's only really been in the show for a whole season. Um, you know, um, they're making it appear that Nacho's car was attacked and the drugs he and Arturo Colon picked up at Los Pollos Hermanos was stolen, including riddling the car and Arturo's body with bullets and shooting Nacho twice. So this is how far they were going to make it a play. Like, they took a live man willingly, like on purpose, and not with any evil intent. They shot him so they could cover it up. They could make it look like that Arturo wasn't fucking strangled with a bag by Gus Fring, because obviously Gus Fring would get caught like this and their whole drug operation would be up in the dust. But yeah, they had to play it off. They had to make it look believable that, hey, their car just simply got shot up. And yeah, Nacho calls the cousins who burned the car and take Nacho to veterinarian Dr. Caldera, who succeeds in saving Nacho's life. Like, Nacho literally almost died here. We could have lost Nacho, but he's still alive in the series. Early into season 4, he's probably not going to be around for Breaking Bad, as are a lot of these characters, which is the beauty of this show. I mean, it is in the Breaking Bad universe, but it still builds up some different characters. Kim Wexler's still here, Howard Hamlin, Rebecca Bois, who else? Nacho. I can't really think of anyone else. But anyways, Juan Bolsa tells Gus Fring that because drug and cash shipments have been disrupted several times, Gus should begin investigating the feasibility of making meth within the United States rather than relying on cocaine from Mexico. Unaware, this is what Gus intended, and my goodness, we get introduced to a character that we know from Breaking Bad, although this character wasn't really around for more than half of the action. I don't know, it was like a season he was a part of it, Breaking Bad. Gus visits Gail Bedecker. We know who this guy is if you've watched, and it's gonna be nice because introducing him early in season 4, when we have 6 seasons before the Breaking Bad story even starts, we're gonna get 2 seasons of Gail Bedecker and get some backstory and kind of explain some things that this show wasn't able to explain in the short time that he was on the show, being a minor character and obviously focusing on Walter White. So it's a beautiful thing. He's a postgraduate student and researcher at the University of New Mexico who reports on the poor quality of a meth sample Gus asked him to evaluate. And you watch this and you laugh because when Gus was introduced in the show, at first you were like, oh, he's going to hire Walt and he's going to have high quality ass meth because Walt is a fucking chemist. This guy was a chemist and he was looking at it and he was laughing to himself probably too. Gale says he could produce a higher quality product, but Gus assures him he is destined for better things. He's like, man, you're too good of a person to be working in the meth industry. You need to go become an actual chemist somewhere and work for a lab or something, and not my lab. That's not what Gus was saying. You can be making a lot more money and be a lot more of a better civilian in person. He's pretty much saying you're not like a criminal. You shouldn't be cooking meth. He sees good things in him. Jimmy McGill asked Mike Ehrmantraut to steal a valuable Hummel figurine from Neff Copiers and replace it with an inexpensive one that looks similar. So they're literally the exact same looking thing, but obviously the values are extremely different. They're going to make a profit off of it, yada yada yada. Mike refuses, so Jimmy turns to Ira. I'm not sure who Ira is. Wait, Ira. I don't remember who Ira was. Ira agrees, but during the theft, he finds one of the owners is sleeping in the office, being held overtime overnight, trying to work on some stuff, finish some things up. Ira calls Jimmy, who creates a distraction that enables Ira to leave with the Hummel. So obviously they succeed, but not without a couple of hitches in the road. Jimmy had to like turn the guy's car alarm on, which is obviously like a great strategy for Jimmy. He's got a lot up his sleeve. But anyways, Kim Wexler returns to work on the Mesa Verde account, so she's kind of got her arm in a sling. She's kind of recovering from her car crash, and she's decided that she wants to return and help Mesa Verde. They got a lot of stuff going on there, so she figured why not help them out, that sort of thing. Bank President Kevin Wachtel welcomes her back, and shows her plans for the bank's aggressive expansion. I mean, there's like 10 new locations they're getting, and given that they've had legal troubles with other firms, like it's kind of aggressive to do this right on the verge of that. And they just lost Chuck. Chuck just died, so I don't know. It's kind of crazy that they would just now bring this up to Kim after Chuck dies, showing how much they give a shit about. I mean, they didn't really work extensively with them. Kim got the client for Hamlin and McGill. Then Jimmy, obviously thwarted a plan for them to make a mistake, The expansion. Concerned about the rate of growth and increasingly bored with banking law, Kim gives the work to her paralegal, Viola Goto, and asked to be dropped off at the courthouse. I don't think we've really gotten a lot of Viola in the series, maybe a couple of scenes, but we didn't really know that she was working with Kim Wexler, so that's nice to see another character kind of get introduced. We might get some point of views of her dealing with Mesa Verde. You never know. That would be really interesting. The next morning, Kim gives Jimmy Chuck McGill's letter, what she's been kind of holding back from him as a while in fear of what it might pertain. Kim offers to leave so he can read it alone, but Jimmy insists she stay. I mean, Jimmy really cares about Kim. He wants her to be around for all of his moments in life, even if it's a personal moment. He doesn't care. He wants her to be there with him because he loves her, of course. The letter is undated, but appears to have been written when Jimmy worked in HHM's mailroom, so there's a lot of guilt surrounding Kim because she kept shit back from Jimmy, and it turned out this was actually a really good letter from him. On the surface, the letter is full of praise, but is slightly condescending and contains backhanded compliments. It's a nice letter, and Jimmy probably took it as such, but he knew there were some backhanded compliments. Jimmy calls it nice, but Kim begins crying and runs off to their bedroom, kind of having an emotional breakdown at the end of the episode, and that's kind of the cliffhanger. So we're left out as the audience is open to interpret why Kim was crying during the episode. Is it because she was guilty that she held Jimmy's own brother's letter? Is she guilty because she held it back and it turned out to be a somewhat nice letter and not just ripping his head off on the verge of his death? And I mean, it happened before he even really had these struggles with EHS. That's really all I have to say for that. Reception-wise, critical acclaim, obviously this is a really big-time TV show. Rotten Tomatoes is one of the most popular review platforms out there. 100% rating, 9 out of 10, perfect score. It's a really good episode. It's not really action-packed, but it still has some good pieces. Something Beautiful is full of strong, small moments that continue to drive the show's complicated characters forward, if ever so slowly. I mean, this is really a slow-burn TV show. I mean, that's something you kind of got to look at it as. So, yeah, I'm out. GZTV, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Reviewing your favorite TV shows. Later today, we're going to be going over the weekly track roundup. A lot of music dropped this week, good and bad. So we'll talk about that on the channel, probably around 11:30. So stay tuned on the channel. We will get you guys that content. Do not worry. I'm going to go watch the morning game, Vikings Saints. I mean, Kamara had 6 touchdowns last time